Welcome back to the Get the Goods podcast.
Yes,
we
sir.
are so excited to be here for 2025.
2025.
It's our
We
first
made it.
podcast of the year. We made it through.
We made it.
Made it
Come on,
through.
it's 2024.
Yeah,
Look.
it's almost
Look.
February.
And you know, they started the year off wild. We're going to
Yeah.
get into it. But look,
Yeah,
welcome back.
indeed.
Before we go any further, we just want to say, as always, we will do our absolute best to make sure all this information is as accurate as we can possibly make it be.
Especially Erica.
What we will do every episode is print retractions, okay? If there's anything we got wrong in the last episode, feel free to let us know.
Erica should have a lot.
Also, we will, hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
Right? That sounds
I like
good?
it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a
Yeah.
big accountability year.
Hold Erica to the highest accountability that you possibly can for correct information at all times.
Sure,
at all
so
times.
part of community.
There we go.
Do
Yeah,
so
third.
with love,
So-
compassion, and care.
Look, with that being said, we're going to do our best this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to make it better than 2024.
Yes,
So
sir.
mine is gonna be better.
It's
I
great.
declared that.
It's great, ain't it?
Yes.
Yeah, already.
I'm thriving.
Yes,
already.
sir. Come on.
Thrive in 2025. Okay. So is there any retractions we need to print for 2024 as a whole?
I do.
There's anything last year that you leaving in the past that you want to take back? How y'all feel?
Well, one, I know that it appeared on one podcast in 2024 that I didn't know the brunch had been around for a while, and thank you to everybody for naming that. I see that as to be true. I just mean that it's become really, really popular.
Bro, we know what you meant.
Well,
bro.
okay, I just wanted to
Get
make
on,
sure
man.
folks knew. 'cause
Listen,
folks-
listen. You know how when you say something and you speak to folks' soul, you did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did that.
So I wanted
Some
to
people got caught red-handed. out
say
here.
that. And
we getting a lot of love.
And yeah, thank you for all the love, appreciation. And I think that people should definitely, get what they need, which is, I'll talk more about what that looks like for me this year. But yeah, folks should get what they need. If it's spending time in community and brunch, going to church, if it's, spending time with your people. I
So
think
you
it's the main thing.
don't think they should go to church and not brunch?
People should praise the Lord. I'm standing on that. In whatever way that makes sense to you.
Okay. Got it.
Be in gratitude, be in love, be in honoring what it means to be in divine connection and be in love with God. Yeah, I believe in that still. Then I think, what is my other retraction? My year was really rocky, but it was now in 2025, I understand it more. And so I don't have any other I don't even think that was a retraction. I just wanted to clarify it. Oh, probably, I think the level of work that I did and the pace and the amount, I'm not retracting that, but I think that I'm in a new phase in my life.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I might be leaving that in 2024. And 2025 is going to look different for me. It doesn't mean that 2026 or at some point I might change, but I just think that how I was moving when I was 30 and how I could move at 33, I realized at 34 I couldn't move like that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you don't want to burn out?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Gotcha.
No more burning out.
Okay,
Okay.
bet. That sounds
What retractions do you have, Jamal?
I have absolutely no retractions. I remained the highest form of journalistic integrity that this podcast has ever
Well, what you
experienced.
leaving
I
in
have
That
been
is kind of a
I have
fact.
been nothing but right, even in the face
That's-
of moments when people doubted me. I was right
the
on
face
the
of
money,
uncertainty.
hit the bullseye. So I just want to say, I just want to espouse to even surpass that level of greatness and
So
journalism
now you're going to be able to
correctness.
predict the future.
Absolutely,
That's the next
through
phase.
algorithm and understanding.
That's dangerous.
I like it.
But it is through analysis. You could probably predict what's going, Okay, I feel that.
And I have been quite good at predicting what was going to happen in the past. So, yes.
Okay, so what are you leaving in 2024? Anything?
Doubts.
Oh, what kind
That's
of
why I'm
doubts?
leaving in 2024. Second guessing, not going with instinct and analysis.
How are you doing that?
Just being more sure of myself.
Okay.
But it's not a lot that I'm leaving in 2024, to be honest, because I learned a lot in 2024. I think as far as like organizationally, we hit a certain point where we know how to do things. We know how to actually achieve the mission that we set out to. And so I'm taking that into 2024
Got you.
so we can achieve more missions.
2025.
I love that. Ooh,
2025.
I am leaving DoorDash or Uber Eats in 2020.
Me too.
Yes, sir.
Me too.
Okay, yes, that's what I'm leaving. That's what I'm leaving.
They had your girl
That's what I'm leaving.
2 or 3 times a week.
That's what I'm leaving. I'm leaving ordering food.
They was texting me.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, they was sending me messages like we was dating. I was like, this is my
texting you
boo.
like, don't you want a little
Yeah, you're right.
They was like, you deserve that, Thai girl. You been, how you know what I've been doing? So I gotta thank you. I gotta leave Uber Eats and DoorDash.
I'm leaving that
And
too.
it's so high, bro.
It's
Meal
so
be
expensive.
$50.
No, $65 for 2 things.
Yeah.
Look, I gotta leave
Okay, that's a good one. For me, in the great words of Joel Santana, my resolution was do everything I've been doing.
Yeah.
Better than I usually do.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about 2025. I just want to be much better at what I do.
That's what I'm saying. Same.
And also just exploring. I want to leave. I'm kind of with Jamel on the leave in doubt, but coupling it with trying new things.
Yes, sir.
Like things that I've been interested in for years, from like fashion stuff to just like whether it's like physical health, really, really getting serious about being in the gym and not really talking about it, just doing it. Trying to be in the best shape of my life in 2025. So just focusing on that. And I also just don't want to waste any time.
No, can't.
If I possibly can't, I want everything I do to have value or to be a contribution to like recovery.
So you waking up at like 4:00 a.m. and
Definitely
then,
not. We're not doing that.
So what do you mean don't waste time? Because sometimes when people be saying don't waste time, they be like,
I don't mean it like The Rock. Like I don't mean it like Kevin Hart. I mean it like I don't want to spend time doing things that ain't that's just ineffective.
Not serving you.
Yeah. Like I just don't want to waste the time. Like I'm probably not going out as much.
Yeah.
They in the streets, they not rocking with that. I heard a look.
What?
Not you centering the spirit of the streets. That was kind of crazy.
You heard the streets in your spirit?
Dang. What did you might have been in the streets too much.
No, the streets didn't have nothing for me last year.
That don't mean you wasn't in them, cuz.
Yeah, I wasn't in them. Trust. They said, no ma'am, send me back home. Go ahead, my man. We got off.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, going out is cool. That's not a waste of time.
Yeah.
In moderation.
Yeah.
But I just don't, it'd be a lot of stuff going on. We got a lot of homies do a lot of stuff, and homies just don't have to understand. I can't go to everything.
No, that's real.
I feel that.
You know what
That's
I mean?
real.
Is it like the energy that you are using going out?
It's the social energy.
Got you, yeah.
It's the social energy for me.
Yeah.
Like I got a social battery that has a limitation. You know what I mean? I just got to be real with myself about that. And if I burn it all out, then I'm not gonna have it in times when I really need it.
No, that's real.
I just want to be mindful of that. The other thing I'm leaving in 2024 is probably my therapist. Looking for a new one.
That's real.
Looking for a new one.
Oh, that's real.
Probably leaving my
It'd be like
therapist
that.
behind.
Yeah, it'd be like that. I'll be like that.
Peace be with her.
Nah, for real.
I feel that.
It'd be like it.
Sending you love on that journey. It is hard to find a good therapist.
It's so hard because it's like, how do you know if it's working? And then you just hate spending money on session after session. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
what are we doing here? What's going on?
Oh, I feel that.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that.
So, and maybe I'm being impatient, but I just feel like
But if you got in your gut, you like, I need something else.
She'll be there if I need to go back.
Yeah.
In the next one you go to, just name it. Hey, I'm trying to fill this by session number 2.
Here are my goals.
No, for real. I'm coming out the gate this next one.
Yeah. Come out the gate with it, bro. Like, come all the way out the gate with it.
Because the time is too valuable and the energy is too valuable.
Yeah.
And if it ain't going nowhere, I can't spend
That's real.
That's real. Have you tried Jesus? No, I'm joking.
You can't say his name without
Jesus
saying
is
the
my
word
therapist.
us.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah, nah, for real.
No, people done took it too far. Yes, go to therapy.
Okay.
And, honor Jesus. That's your thing.
Yeah. So, okay. So what about the news, y'all? It's a lot of the news. Mm-hmm. It's the end of January, but we got off to the races.
Nah, for real.
Pretty quick this month.
Yeah.
So,
And
Jamel,
we
you want to pop it up?
anticipated it.
Yeah. So since the last time we talked, TSU has a new interim president.
They do.
Right.
His name is Dwayne Tucker. Mm-hmm. Cool thing about this interim president is he is from Nashville.
Oh,
like
really?
he's actually from.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's actually from North Nashville. Actually, so he's actually from around the corner from the school. Another interesting thing, you know how it be from Nashville. We be 1 or 2 people removed from each other.
Yeah.
My grandmother, when she passed away, his mother went to the funeral. And my mama remembered that. Like, she was one of the first, his mother was one of the first people that came to the funeral. So I think it's interesting that now TSU has an interim president that's not only an alum, but from Nashville.
That is huge, actually.
His tone, though, when it comes to the money, that is, this is interesting. So, like, the state said that they did a study, right? And they said that they shorted the school by $500 million. Then the feds came back around and said, well, it's actually $2 billion. Mm-hmm. So before Biden left office, he sent the letter to the state saying, hey, don't forget about that $2 billion.
Oh, really?
But the interim president said, well, the state already has agreed that they've shorted us $5 million. So why don't we just go for the
$5 million or 500?
500 million.
Okay.
So why don't we just go for the total that we have agreed with,
right,
with the state, and then try to figure out the remaining $2 billion on the back end. Yeah. So that's kind of like the change in tone, change in strategy for the school. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my news. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Is he some kind of Davy Tucker?
I don't know.
They might be family.
They might be.
Yeah.
I mean, Tucker's from out north.
Yeah. So
yeah.
They might be related. But yeah, the other news, national news, unfortunately, we had a really tragic incident at Antioch High School. There was a school shooting where one student was killed, and the student that was doing the shooting took their own life and also injured the life of, we know for sure, at least one other student. And I heard that there's another student that was injured just in the scrambling and the chaos.
Yep.
So it's really difficult because, we 2 years removed from the Covenant shooting.
Right.
Which is another school on another side of town, private school, that experienced horrendous loss. And then it happens again in Antioch, which is a black and brown area, right? About 25 minutes outside of, downtown. So we trying to deal with the grief and trying to channel that grief. And also, there's a lot of weird things that I noticed. Like, for example, when it first happened, a lot of the news outlets were so quick, trying to be so quick to report news, that there was very strange language being used. And it didn't seem as though it was integral. Like, it was felt like it was a lot of rushing to the story, which is concerning, because it kind of shows a certain value that is on young people's lives or lack thereof. And then the other thing that was interesting to me is we still, up to this point, haven't heard anything about the shooter's parents, right? Who they were, what is going on with that situation, or what this student probably needed mental health wise way before this, to prevent, whatever mental state that he was in from occurring. So it was just very crazy. I mean, a lot of folks have seen it, but for those who haven't, there's just he had made a lot of posts online, Nazi stuff, just like clearly someone that had mental health issues, in my opinion. Yep. And this is a black student. Yep. So having some affinity for Nazis is odd. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's not really what we see from our young people. So it's just a really tragic situation, and our heart goes out to those families and everybody impacted by that really, really horrific act. But also what people are searching for in this time is, how do we prevent this from happening again? Because we've seen it more than once. Yeah. And folks want solutions to this issue. Yeah. And they want to be involved in the solutions and figure out what they can do. So what would y'all say to those people?
First, I want to say, I think we have to, I think this is such a traumatic event. It's I just want to give people warning. You got to watch what you put in your eyes, right? When it's things like this is happening, and there's so many cell phones, and there's footage, and there's a manifesto, you can't unsee some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So people just need to be cautious.
And it's insensitive to share that stuff.
And it's all and also, if you know you can't consume it, you just probably shouldn't consume it. You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing I was gonna say, before we get to talking about the systemic solutions, I do want to say there is a piece of accountability that needs to be held for Nazi leaning right. I don't know how to explain it, but white supremacist media.
Yes.
Because they talked about how, he talked about how he didn't feel accepted by the black community, or he had just didn't have a community, but the community he found was that white supremacist form of media. Yeah. Right? And and it just created the most. It socialized him to do some of the most violent and horrendous acts against his own self, right? And so I think there's a piece of accountability that need to be held there, and I don't know how we hold that, right? Yeah. But we can also talk about like the systemic creating communities around folks like this, and then also being able to get here earlier. But I do think people got to watch what they're putting into their minds, and what they're seeing and how they're consuming certain things.
And I just want to add to that too, because I don't know how people like Candace Owens sleep at night. I don't know how people who perpetuate like hate speech on a regular basis, I don't know how they live with themselves.
Right.
I don't know what's going on with them, and I don't even know if that's for me to understand.
Right.
But I think one conversation I haven't heard is the way that people who have mental health challenges, when you couple that type of rhetoric, that type of information and that type of media, how that impacts those people.
No, for real.
You're not really seeing any studies that, at least I haven't seen, any studies or anything about how that alt-right, Proud Boy sector of the internet is affecting people with mental health issues.
That's real. That's real.
And I think that's interesting and odd at the same time, but I think that's something we should probably look more into.
Yeah, my heart goes out to everybody who's been impacted by the school shooting at Antioch, especially the young lady's family who her life was taken. And just, been really praying for everybody involved. I know that, teachers and students, educators are really nervous and like anxious about what it means to go be at school, go to school. And then after, last week after it happened last Wednesday, and then the 2 days that were left in the week, there were so many incidents of like folks having like scares at their school where there were like threats and things like that, and they were finding guns at school, and probably doing sweeps. And then I'm also thinking about like, that there's so many guns that you can imagine there are gonna be guns in school, and then also young people are also probably taking guns to school because they're like, oh, I want to be able to protect myself.
Right.
Yeah. And so just that rise in fear and anxiety that I think is that I'm holding and really mindful of as we talk to our students and talk to folks who work in the school system about that, and so praying for them at the same time, really reminded of the work of our students, especially last year, and what they were saying in 2023 about what they needed in their schools
for real,
to be safe. And they talked about restorative justice. They talked about those circles. They talked about conflict resolution. They talked about access to mental health practitioners on a wider scale. And just thinking about that, MNPS has like Metro National Public Schools has over 80,000 students. That is a lot of students. And so I'm also just mindful that there's so many different students, so many different needs to meet. And, I continue to say we really need to continue to flood Antioch High School and other schools in our community with resources, with our time, our capacity, both with like, money from the budget, and then also through like the work of like organizations like ours who are like, I'm committed to the young people in Nashville, want to see them well and whole, because the other piece of it is that unfortunately last year over a dozen young people lost their lives to gun violence. Like they're gone. And so we are in a crisis, and we have to treat it like a crisis.
No, for real.
So many access to guns, along with the violence that is the way the United States is situated right now. Right. I don't think it's a coincidence that this happens 2 days after the inauguration. And what we see, like there's a rise in folks in what we see online when it comes to white supremacy, that rhetoric of hate and harm across the board. Even in songs and things like that. And so what is our work is like organizers to build new systems and infrastructure that keeps our people safe, that shifts culture, right? Yeah. And I'm really like culture, because there's a culture of violence. Yep. And so I think our work is to really shift the culture, both in our journey to liberation, like how we move as people, our relationship and building community and connection, because so much of that, what we're talking about happens in isolation.
Right.
When people like are isolated, they don't. Sometimes it's harder to make good decisions,
Right.
And healthy decisions. But in community and connection, and when we, allow young people in those schools to have the means they need to build meaningful relationships, I think our schools are safer. We begin to shift the culture.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll just say is that I think the answer to all of this is like a shift of culture and connection, right?
Yeah.
Because you can have mental health issues, right? We can have mental health issues. So many of us struggle, but what a lot of us, I think, have been grateful for is like connection, right? You talked about having access to therapy, right?
Yeah.
We talk about the community circles we do in our own organization.
Yeah.
I talk about church so frequently because it is a community,
Right.
at least for me,
Right.
because of the churches I have gone to.
Right.
That I feel safe in and I'm connected to, right? And all people don't have access to that because of the libraries and community centers. And so I think we have to invest in those things that build healthy and safe connections wherever folks may find them. Whether it's at the community center, whether it's like the basketball team that plays every other week, or the folks that meet up for poetry, just really building that community and culture along with building out policies, legislation, and budgets that really get to the heart of those issues so our people can be safe. And I think I don't know if I can move into the Tennessee portion of the conversation.
Yeah, no, I think that's good.
Yeah. But again, just really, and I'll end by, I think the prescription to this, to preventing these are, honoring what young people are saying.
Right.
But the prescription has to be, twofold. I'm thinking about a person, if you got, I got high blood pressure, and the prescription is like, you need to take your blood pressure pills. Yes. And you also need to eat healthy. And you also need to work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for real. What?
No, I just don't want to. I don't want to make a joke at this moment. That's all.
Oh, okay. But I mean, like, it's so many. So it's like, okay, well, the prescription of gun violence can't just be one thing. It can't just be gun reform, right? It can't.
Right.
Because it's a culture of violence. But I think that is important, along with the significant investments in young people. I'll be really excited and grateful to see what it looks like to invest in our community, starting with investing in young people and then see how it unfolds. And so to that end, I shout out to Moms Over Murder and other groups who work on a consistent basis to address gun violence in our communities, and other organizations like Rafah Institute who work on an ongoing basis to make sure communities have access to restorative justice. And so just thinking about those two groups.
And also, shout out to the young folks, the Youth Assembly, and that's the ones who spoke out of public comment last year, who have done work with the Southern Movement Committee in recent years. And then there's other high school students across the city, and I'm sure the state, that have been trying to figure out what they can do, trying to organize their friends and their classmates to solve this thing too.
One thing, just this might be just like getting into the weeds, but we can move on. One thing I do want to mention is like this is going to take a while fixing this issue. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
It took us a while to get into the nooks and cranny of it, so it's going to take us a minute to get out. I know people are tired, but this is a moment where we need people to figure out how they can refuel, take breaks. But it's going to be a forever type of thing. Like, we're going to be working on this, right? And I think if we really going to put our best foot forward, we need consistent, and we need effort, and we need to spread the workload out so we can keep it moving and keep it going.
Yeah,
that's just one thing I want
to work.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. That's why I wanted to lift up those different groups who are working on these issues across the state and in Tennessee. And so this month has been difficult for folks. At least when we look at the news, I saw our hearts go out to the folks in LA dealing with the fire. And then with the inauguration, so many different executive orders that are really
ridiculous.
That really plan to cause a lot of harm to our communities. And so what we see coming up in Tennessee is a special session called by the governor, which is really a session for the House and Senate come together to work on specific issues. And so he called that, it starts tomorrow, actually. Well, tomorrow would be January 27th. Starts January 27th. And it's focused on school vouchers.
Okay.
Because last year the school voucher legislation that was intended to expand school vouchers that would increase the access to school vouchers, which would take money from public schools and give it to private schools. So students who go to public schools could then take the money that they get at public schools and go to private schools. And so that did not pass last year because of some really great organizing, right? From folks being able to connect what's going on in rural parts of Tennessee to what's going on into cities, and recognizing that school vouchers doesn't benefit anybody, doesn't benefit folks in Tennessee. And so it's back because Governor Lee is like, this has to happen. And so it'll focus on school vouchers, which I think is really, really important to name how much it will be.
It'll be see if I can guess it right, $7,228.
Yes, but
highest journalistic integrity.
Come on, yes.
That's good work.
And the thing though is that if passed in the first year, it'll cost Tennessee taxpayers $144 million, right? But by year 5, it'll be $800 million,
right?
Because it starts with 20,000 students, and then it increases to 5,000,
right?
Each year. And the first 10,000 is for folks who is for young people who come from families that priority families, for folks who come from families who are, I forgot what the amount of the home income has to be, but it's under a certain number. And then the next 10,000 is anybody who want it. So you can see they was like, oh, we trying to act like it's for young people who don't have as much access, but that's not actually true. So that is really, really important to name. And then the other piece that this special session will cover is hurricane relief, the Helen hurricane relief. And then the last piece is immigration.
Which is it? Oh, keep on.
Oh, I wanted to go in a little bit more detail about these immigration policies he's proposing.
Come on with it.
Go ahead. What were we going to say?
I was going to say, so it's interesting that is happening at the local level, because we also pulled out of one of those executive orders pulled us out of the Paris Climate Agreement, which has us guaranteed to like lower emissions, but by pulling us out, emissions are going to raise.
Of course, yeah, which causes
even
these tariffs,
causes the hurricane.
Even the tariffs, where it's like, oh, the administration is suggesting they'll put tariffs on Canada and Mexico, which will not, the companies aren't going to bear that. No, the countries are. It's going to be the consumers,
right?
And they were talking about on NPR that it would they were like, oh, how would this impact avocados? And it's gonna triple. And I'm like, this is terrifying. All of it is horrible. But I'm just like, whoa. Okay, so this immigration legislation that Governor Bill Lee is trying to push through is like, one, establishing a centralized immigration enforcement division, right? So that's more money going to law enforcement,
right?
Which is appointed by the governor. He'll appoint a chief immigration officer.
This is in Tennessee, right?
Yeah. So to say that they want to make sure there's effective enforcement of immigration laws. Raise the standard for obtaining state issue ID, so it restricts eligibility for state issue IDs to U.S. citizens, right? Lawful permanents and individuals with federal authorization. I'm wondering if that also includes like state schools.
Right.
Curious about that.
Right.
Then this is wild. Local accountability. They say they want to make it a Class E felony offense for local officials who adopt or maintain sanctuary city policies.
Right.
To, one, hold them accountable for that, and then initiate removal proceedings for officials convicted of violating anti-sanctuary city provisions. And then incentivize local law enforcement to work with federal immigration, and then creates an immigration enforcement grant program, which allocates funding for governments to assist with training law enforcement. So it's this whole thing, and this also special session is happening is because the administration, on the federal level, was like, this week needs to be focused on immigration enforcement. And so some really scary and harmful things coming out on the state level that I think were important to lift up, and also just names the reason why we want to be definitely in solidarity with our people. And sometimes people get confused and think that these type of policies are harmful. Inherently, and also want to name that it's easy for some people to think that black people are not immigrants, and I'm like, black people are impacted by this. We need to be also clear about that, and it matters because nobody should be harmed in this way. But I just want to lift it up because some people, sometimes we forget.
Appreciate that. I read an article about a mayor in Newark, New Jersey, where they had an ICE raid, and the ICE raid locked up everybody in the space. So it didn't just lock up immigrants. It locked up people that was born here. And I was telling my auntie too. I was like, they can't tell the difference between you
right
and somebody else.
Black.
They gonna sort that out while you in the cage. But you're gonna be in the
their
cage.
issue.
Right.
They think it's not their issue.
Right,
I'm like,
right,
no, we're all connected. Yeah.
Another thing that's interesting, and this is gonna sound wild. Just heads up. So, the founding fathers had an understanding that this was a country of immigrants. So, how did we get from those folks who were definitely
is we? Because that ain't me. Go ahead.
The country you live in? How did those folks go from? Because they was racist. They was definitely homophobic.
They was the immigrants they was talking about.
Exactly. Right.
White people.
Right. And they still on that.
They weren't talking about Haitians, Jamaicans, Mexicans. They weren't talking about that. They was talking about particularly European immigrants. Yeah.
So it's interesting.
It's nasty work.
For sure.
Yeah. So that's my news. But I think that the invitation for us is to be in solidarity, build strong alliances, figure out the places where we need to work together and go deep. So that's one of the commitments I'm making this year. And I think I'm grateful for the work that Jamel and Denzel have been doing, just really talking to different organizations over the last few months to figure out where can we work together, where can we be in solidarity with each other.
I do think culturally though, as black folks, there's a vibration happening across the globe where we're coming together, where it's like there's a need for community. I think we all feel that, even in Nashville, but also globally, right? So like in Africa, we know like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria are like working together to build an alliance between each one of those countries to where they almost are one, right? It's like they trying to work into a space where they're not even, where you don't even need passports to move between those countries. Also, what's happening is in Kenya, they suspended their passport process, so they're just opening themselves up to try to inspire more Africans just to come into Kenya. So there's a global thing I think happening around black folks. What you call it, 10,000th?
The million circle.
The million circle thing, where it's just like.
It's interesting. I read in this book, but I don't know if the person who wrote it even came up with it. But it's this idea that once so many people pick it up, then it becomes a thing that is like. It's a frequency where even if you're not connected to the people doing it,
you start doing it too.
It's an airdrop.
Yeah.
You got your airdrop on, you can get the file.
You
download it. So I think it's this thing happening where black folks are coming back to each other.
That's fire. That's fire. How have y'all been like personally coping with wrapping your mind around managing the start of this year? Like what's y'all's like maybe self-care, or just like what is it that you've been doing to kind of like find your way through the storm?
So I've been doing three things. This kind of picked up on where I kind of left off. One, I've been inviting more of the homies into transformation. Right, I've been doing that through like, we had a men's circle where we brought some of the homies together, but I just been trying to like inspire others to transform in that way. Two, I think I'm in a season of like preparation. So like I'm just like preparing for things. I mean, what I would have said in the past without the skills I have now is that I feel really isolated. But I think in isolation, that's how you prepare. Like they'll tell you all the time, the best hoopers, like when they're really practicing, they're by themselves working on their skills, right? Outside of the traditional practice. Yeah. And then three, like I've one thing that I did leave in 2024, and this is I don't know how to even say this, so I'm just gonna be a little bit vulnerable. It's like I'm definitely going to just pay attention to becoming the best person I possibly can in 2025. Like last year, I had a goal of finding a partner, was really hoping that I could find something foundational that I did not find. So I'm in a space now where I'm like, if that happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. It's not in my wheelhouse, and I'm just gonna focus on making sure that I can be the best person I can. That is why I'm leaving in 2024, to be honest. Yeah. Like I'm leaving that whole aspiration in 2024.
Like dating? Or
dating, hopefully
goal of finding a partner.
Yeah, dating, goal of finding a significant other, somebody that I'm gonna be with for a lifetime. Like I'm leaving that in 2024 because that was no fun.
Can I ask you a question?
Come on.
What brought you to that decision? No, I'm just
20. I mean,
wait, Leslie.
2020. I mean, I didn't achieve it in 2024. It was like it was.
He said it already.
Yeah.
Nah,
That's what brought me to the decision.
I guess because
I didn't achieve it.
I guess I wanted to. I'm curious because Mike might say, "Well, I tried really hard to be my best fit self in 2024. He didn't do it, so he's still trying in 2025."
That's not what I said.
He didn't say that.
See, this is what's happening. If we gonna start taking shots, let's just open it up. I feel
you
like
catch one.
I feel because I'm not even in this.
You know.
How am I in this?
Okay, no, I'm just saying. So I might say, Erica Perry. My bad.
There we go.
Okay.
I like that.
My bad. Sorry.
Statements.
What didn't you do last year?
I was like, I'm gonna be what did I say? I'm gonna be vegan the whole year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It didn't
Macaroni
work.
is delicious. Okay.
Called you back.
Cheese pizza is delicious.
Yeah.
So I didn't give up on it. But what I do think though, I don't know if I'm hearing this, but how I'm having maybe
You're having a hard
empathizing.
time today with the words.
Empathizing is
Empathize.
Yeah,
You said
you got it.
It's like it's hard to get your hopes up and be let down.
Right.
And so is it that you don't want to get your hopes up in like anticipation of maybe finding somebody, or is it like is it because it was hard you just don't want to do it anymore?
Well, I'm gonna get a little Bible.
Too much time.
I'm gonna get a little Bible.
What was it?
I tried it my way.
That's real.
It didn't work.
That's real.
It's so like.
So you in surrender?
Yeah,
okay.
and the way I'm gonna surrender is I'm just gonna focus on making sure I'm my best self.
That's real.
With completely putting that out of my mind. You know what I'm saying? And I don't wanna. It just wasn't a good time for me. It just wasn't a good time for me last year. I was hoping things would work out a different way, but every single turn, it just ended up being.
We gotta
just
get Patreon.
Something
this is
terrible.
where I would want to go into greater detail.
Me too. Do you feel like you in your healing era too? Are you healing from those bad
what
relationships?
Happened to you, my boy? What they do to you?
Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. Last year, I had some of my worst experiences.
That's real.
I had some of my
Dating.
worst experiences dating last year.
Dating?
And I mean, hold on.
What was the vibe? What was the vibe?
So
we in it now. Come on.
So
Yeah,
for real. So y'all know how this is. I'm a public figure. So people know.
Hey, hold on.
Come on. Gotta go with it. Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm a public figure.
They know me out here.
They know me. They know me. But what comes with that is people be thinking they actually know you though. They think they know everything about you.
That's real.
And so like
they can Google you and see some speeches.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And y'all know like that comes with a level of like attack.
That's
we're
real.
gonna say it
No,
like
we
that.
know. Come on.
Where, people have put out crazy stuff before that we have been able to get through and heal from.
Mm-hmm.
But also this is happening in a context where I'm consistently sometimes reminded of who I used to be.
That's
which
real.
reminds me also how strong I am now.
Come
right?
on.
And so like I dated this one shorty and her friend was just dogged about rumors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single negative thing that has ever been said about me in a context that was not true, just in her ear, just consistently saying, and I had never experienced that before. Even when I dated women even when I was a teenager, I never experienced that level of just dogged gossip.
Like messiness.
Just disgusting.
It's messy. I think this is probably the messiest we've seen.
It's so hard. It's so
this
difficult.
was the thing. So my therapist was like, "Yo, just try it." She was like, "Just try it. See if you like it. Just try to date, try to meet folks." And I would meet them, date them for a second, and then it would always end in disappointment. It would be like, it would either that situation. I remember one woman I was dating, she didn't even allow me to have a range of emotions. Like she was just like emotionally very immature, right? And so, like I said, I tried it my way last year, and it was like, I ain't got the heart to be trying to consistently go through this over and over. I ain't got the heart for that.
That's
and like you said earlier, it's wasted energy. I'm like, what if I poured this compassion into something else? What if I just got better at teaching these young folks?
Yeah.
What if I poured this energy into the campaign, into talking to my neighbor, into being being in the neighborhood? What if I poured it there? Maybe I would actually yield some result instead of this consistent like disappointment and misunderstanding and unforgivingness and just harsh reality. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm leaving in 2024. When I talked through it with my therapist, we kind of isolated that the thing that kind of was the line throughout all of it was that they were emotionally immature.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah,
It is.
It's a thing.
It is.
I also think it speaks to just, women having way bigger egos than men, but that's a conversation
I
we don't
don't
have to
know
have.
why you say
I just
that.
think-
Can we?
I'm sorry, this is my truth. I
What do you
think
think?
He trying to
sometimes-
trigger Erica, dog. He wants you.
I just think, I think that's the thing
Why do you
that we
think
have
women
to
have
face.
bigger egos than men?
I mean, I think women haven't had to experience rejection in the same way men have, so it's confusing to them. I think.
You mean rejection because it's like somebody asks for your number and you don't, like, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a certain training that we as young men had to encounter. Right?
You do
on how
know
to-
it's
how to
women
take
that have
an L
gotten
with
killed
grace.
because they didn't give a man their number.
And now this has taken a turn.
Nah, because I just wanted to understand more what was you saying.
These are valid points.
That could be fair.
I will say one is not the other. I am referring to the group of people who don't do that. I'm not referring to people who lash out in horrendous acts of violence from rejection.
But it'd be a little violent, like not. I don't want to say a little violent, but it's people
violent.
have stories of
Violent.
men
Right.
being like, "Oh, you a B word, you
Right.
ugly anyway."
100%.
So
100%.
I mean, I think people, there is probably likely a thread of people, certain type of people, who deal with rejection differently. So I don't know if just saying women have bigger egos because. Maybe let's talk about your experience, because you made a real general statement.
Actually, I feel like I share my truth. How have you been? How have you been here lately?
I have been, what I was just reminded of in that moment.
Let them use you.
What you reminded of, Erica?
I've been really saying, "Oh, I'm at ease," to try to just remind myself to lower my shoulders, not be tense. And I was like, "Oh, my chest is a little tight right now." But I think though, I'm gonna go to my piece. But I know we have been talking about the dating pool. I see so much on like social media and people talking about how difficult it is to date right now in like your mid 30s and early 40s. And I thought something that you said, Mike, was very interesting that kind of humbled me a little bit. Because I was like, why aren't the people who are good at dating finding each other? And you were like, I think we all might be just not that good at dating. And I was like, I had to check myself and be like, you know what? I actually maybe am not that great at dating either. I have made some interesting mistakes. So
Care to share more?
I'll practice. I was on this date with this guy, my last date in May of last year.
Okay, now we gonna get some views. Here we go. Let's hear it.
What happened?
Now we gonna do something with this
What happened
podcast.
on a date with this guy in May?
Yeah,
Come
here
on,
we
what
go.
happened?
Let's hear it.
What happened?
Cause I'm just whatever I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like going through his I was going through his online dating site with him. Like, oh yeah, swiping for him.
What?
Yeah, that's what.
So you was putting your date on with other dates?
Yeah, I don't.
That's called a friend. So you were being a friend.
We wasn't exclusive. So, but that was my last date because I guess it was like I need to sit down somewhere
Wait.
and
So y'all are
reflect.
out at a restaurant, and you say, "Hey, pull up your Tinder."
No,
let me
I
pick
don't
some
know
girls
how
for
the
you."
phone
How did
got
this
out.
happen?
I don't know if it was like we were, sometimes you sit down, you had a conversation. Yeah, I'm dating other people, and maybe he mentioned he was doing online dating. And I was like, oh, cool.
You said, "Let me see your app."
I'm trying to see what their profile
Let me
is
see
on.
that. Let me see that. Actually,
I'm trying to see what you got going on.
So yeah.
So you picked him some dates,
I guess I did.
and that was y'all's last date. Huh?
he ain't called you.
You know what? Maybe you found his wife. You might have really helped him. You're doing the Lord's work.
I do
for
be
real.
helping people sometimes.
Yeah.
So
That's honorable. That's gonna come back. That's gonna
it's
come back tenfold.
Come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it is really interesting. So it's, appreciate folks giving good dating advice and people giving good feedback.
I
so
just also
y'all
just
helped
wanna
me.
say-
You did help me realize that was wild because I didn't know till I talked to you about it.
See, community. So I think for me, I just want to put this out. Anyone I ever dated, it was my fault. That's all I have.
That's real.
I was wrong.
It's on me.
It's on me.
Yeah.
I don't feel like my dating experience has been the best, but I also don't feel like I have been the best.
Yeah.
So it's probably fitting of the person. So I just take that on the chin. It's all
Man,
good.
that's real.
I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm buying out of all that. I'm out of it. I'm on the outside looking in. I don't want no dating advice. Don't ask me about my dating life. I am out of that altogether.
I think we handled that. I think that went good. What y'all think?
I think so.
I think it went well.
I think so.
Y'all got any New Year's resolutions?
So one thing that has changed my life. I've been going to the chiropractor. Let me tell you, just really, I guess my New Year's resolution has been to take better care of me. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm really gonna be vegan this year.
That's good.
I'm gonna go to the chiropractor.
That's good.
That's gonna be amazing. It's been consistently amazing.
That's good.
I am an evangelist for the chiropractor now.
Okay.
Everybody should go.
Okay.
Get your back cracked.
Oh, pause.
Alignment.
Get your back aligned.
Pause.
Get your back aligned. It might help. It might help.
No, for real, because your neck, all that, we tight and tense. Let it breathe. That's why I feel like I'm at ease. So
We got to get a Patreon. Okay.
So that's my New Year's resolution. And then the other thing is just to really be, I've been really, last year and the past few years, I think that remember I was sick over Christmas because I got burnt out because, I was doing too much. So I'm really been in this moment where I'm like, I'm in overflow. I've been working with my therapist and she was like, you need an overflow of energy for yourself so that you have it to give.
That's
so
right.
I'm just really trying to be in that, like, cook for myself, which is why I said no to Uber Eats and, do some yoga. Oh, and the other really exciting thing is I've been doing, my friend, thank you to her, group fitness, and I was really afraid to do that last year or the previous years because I was like, I'm a little goofy and I'm not the
We
best.
seen you on the front page of the yoga.
Did you see me? But did you see me boxing? I looked a mess.
You public figure.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm down to do more group fitness because it's fun to do things you don't know how to do, and it's humbling because it's like, oh my God, I look silly, but I get to have fun and just be really present and trying to figure out how to box and look goofy at it. I'd be like staying like this, I'm like this, or like I did cycling and I was like, this is so hard, and I look so wild, but I felt really alive and felt really good to just kind of like not be good at something and to try to figure it out with some people.
That's a good skill to have.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
So, what's your?
So my New Year's resolution was to just want to be extremely disciplined this year, and so I'm off to a great start because I've been fasting, and when I started fasting, which I haven't been eating no meat, so when I started fasting, it became clear to me that I started eating less, but I started being more productive.
Say more. What you mean?
So I started breathing better. I started sleeping better. Like
for real.
all of those things about my life just became way easier to do. Right?
Which fast did you do?
I did the Daniel fast. So that means like I didn't eat any bread. I didn't eat any meat. So it was a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables.
And you told me it was only stuff that come from seed, right?
Seeds.
Yeah.
No slips?
No slips.
How about you, Erica?
I did it too. I didn't have no slips. That's why I said.
Yeah.
Remember, I went and I broke fast, and then after it was over, and I felt bad afterwards. That's why I was like, oh no, I'm just be vegan.
Yeah.
I can't go back.
Yeah. If anything, I'm not going back to consuming as much as I was before.
Did you have chicken today though?
Yes, I had chicken
Just
today.
playing.
But the fast is over.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
no, I'm
started
joking.
with the fast. So Yeah.
So more discipline in
More
all
discipline.
areas, like reading, working out, like what you
Oh, absolutely. Like physically, but for me, more physically than anything. But I think if I feel good, then those other things become easier. Reading becomes easier. All that other stuff.
So you
becomes
understand why I say my commitment is to doing things that feel good,
Right.
Because everything else becomes more possible.
easier. It's a momentum game.
Yeah.
That's real. I've been on dry January, so a few days left, no slips. I think we keep it going through February. It's not that big of a deal.
Cool.
And I think I feel the same way y'all feel, where it's like, wait a minute, it's less money. I feel healthy. I have more energy. You know what I mean?
It's also less sugar.
It's less sugar.
It's less sugar too.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Yeah.
And then when you go to the restaurant and you get wine with dinner, the bill be $100.
No, for real.
And when you don't get
Alcohol's so
somehow,
good.
and you don't get one glass of wine, it be 30. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happens, but it jumps up $70 somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
But so I just been on that. And then also my other New Year's resolution was I wanted to, I kind of mentioned it last year, but doing more fashion stuff. Like I always kind of had like a passion for it. I don't know where it's gonna go, but I'm exploring. I took my first sewing class today.
Yay.
Made a pair of pants. So
are they for you or like just in general?
they sized to me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. But but it was fun though. It was fun. And I'm looking forward to doing more stuff and just like, I don't know. I want to try new things. I want to be healthy.
Yeah.
And like Jamel said, I want to be the best possible version of myself that I can be. And then if the other stuff happened too, cool. If not, it is what it is.
So why did you choose dry January?
Fresh start. I mean, I did it last year too. But also, I don't know if it was just like mental clarity. I want to have like, I don't know, just mental clarity. You can get kind of foggy if you have like a cheap drink somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the main thing, is just trying to be healthy,
Yeah.
trying to do right by your body.
Yeah, that's real. I appreciate that. I'm gonna be in solidarity with you on dry January.
Okay,
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I hadn't had no alcohol either.
Nah, I mean, alcohol don't agree with me, so
We be disagreeing, dog.
it does. Like, girl, no, stop.
For sure.
Stop doing that.
For sure. And I don't know if we can even get into this topic. I don't want to drag it out. But do y'all think we're gonna go back to the date thing for 2 seconds?
Okay, let's go back. Spin it.
Do y'all think it's a Nashville thing? Because I know we public figures and all.
I'm not a public figure.
But
Don't
listen.
put that on me.
I am.
In Nashville, you kind of everybody is.
No.
Everybody do know each other.
If you black and you in Nashville, we kind of know everybody.
Yeah, we connected.
Yeah, we connected. So it's not really nowhere you can go and nothing you can do.
Yeah.
At least in my experience, it's not nowhere I can go and not bump into nobody.
Yeah.
Like
That's
it's not
real.
that's not really gonna happen.
I've only dated 2 people from Nashville. So I think my most successful relationships have been with people not in Nashville. So I need to travel more.
For me, that's not the
That's
problem.
self-hate.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I don't know if Nashville like me.
Yeah.
Because it's been really hard to date in Nashville. Okay, no, 3 people I dated in Nashville.
Yeah. For me, that's not the problem. For me,
No, 3.
yeah. For
Okay,
me,
the numbers are changing.
yeah. I'm like, damn, you keep going up. Like, I don't.
I'm only that.
I love y'all, Nashville.
But it might be like that in every city, though. That's what
I
I'm
think
thinking.
that's
like,
what
I think it's like
is.
that everywhere,
Yeah.
and we are so used to like being here that we assume that it's here. But I think it's like that everywhere.
Yeah.
People are saying, what I've heard on the socials and a lot of places is like it's really, really difficult right now.
Yeah. I hate to deep dive on the dating topic.
No.
That was just I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can push through.
Yeah.
On this day in history, we're gonna just do end of January.
Okay.
End of January history. I can start.
Okay.
I'll start. I'm gonna go with mine. Mine is January 31st. Wu-Tang Clan. Cash Rule Everything Around Me comes out. One of the most iconic hip hop songs in hip hop history, and a very interesting analysis beyond, I think, what they were intended for it to be. You know, it's actually like this awareness of capitalism, honestly,
Yeah.
where it's like, yo, the only thing that really matters to the world around me is money. That's all this thing cares about, right? And it's a few different ways you can go at it. You know, you can go the quote-unquote black pig route, or you can go another route that's like, how do we actually solve issues and like build community with each other, knowing that we are under this like horrible system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year did it come out?
Ooh, that's a good question. Hold on. Let's do Jamel's.
Okay,
I'll come back to you.
I'm gonna listen to it. Jamel, what's yours?
So I have I have two. So on January 31st, 1865, the 13th Amendment was passed.
January 31st. Okay, whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So that's one. But then also on January 30th, 13th.
Okay.
Then also on January 30th, 1965, Malcolm X gave his last speech.
Oh, whoa.
And he had just started the Organization for Afro-American Unity. Mm-hmm. So in that speech, he's talking about the African diaspora. Mm-hmm. Like this is a Malcolm X that has come back from his pilgrimage in Mecca. So he's a completely transformed person. So he's talking about like we need to be more involved in the United Nations. We actually need to connect with this broader society of Africans and really talking about that unity piece to actually improve our collective position.
Yeah. I love that. I also appreciate how Malcolm X evolved, right?
Right.
Throughout his life.
Mm-hmm. Wu-Tang was 1994.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, we were 5. I was 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anything for Understand History?
Oh, I mean, I just appreciate.
Can you draw a connection between Malcolm X, the 13th Amendment, and Wu-Tang Clan?
For sure.
Piece it together.
Yeah, Malcolm X, I believe, towards one, the 13th Amendment focuses on the end of enslavement, right? Mm-hmm. Which is interesting because, we understand the role of black people and racialized capitalism, right? And our bodies being used as really the resource when it comes to capitalism.
Keep going.
And so we see Malcolm X who really critiqued capitalism and called black people to come up and embrace what it means to be in solidarity economies. And then Wu-Tang Clan, again, a critique of capitalism. So there's this thread in January of both us recognizing, right, how black bodies are the resource when it comes to capitalism.
Right.
And then this critique and this evolution of us really deciding to make a different choice.
Yeah.
That was so good. We're not going to get mad at you for not
No,
preparing.
that was good. That was good. Because you want to know what else happened on January 31st?
Come on, tell me.
The Emancipation Proclamation in 1863.
Oh, see?
So you just put a bow on all that.
And then January 6th. No.
Oh, damn.
Why he do that?
Oh, damn.
All right, so this is my favorite part of the podcast. And we're going to get up out of here.
I can't believe you said January.
Conspiracy theories, okay? I don't want to start. I'll go second. Who want to start?
Can you start?
We need a conspiracy theory. Shout out to the love in the streets for Erica's conspiracy theory. A lot of love out there for Erica's conspiracy theory. So I hope you're coming with a banger today. No pressure.
Actually, so what I want to name what I've been experiencing the last few years. In Nashville, particularly when it comes to Nashville leadership, when it comes to folks who are really changing and leading a lot of the work when it comes to social justice, when it comes to ensuring people have what they need in the city, and even like leadership in Nashville. Some of the folks who have been my mentors, the folks who have engaged in civil rights movement, particularly the sit-ins, even the sit-ins, particularly in Nashville. And so what I realized, and there's this common thread, and it's TSU.
Okay.
What you realize about state?
My conspiracy is that there is something at TSU. It's something on it. It's something there at TSU where TSU is producing some of the most amazing leaders. And so really, I guess it's a conspiracy, but it's also an appreciation of like the amount of leaders who are coming out of TSU, which also builds on something else. That I'm naming is that like it's something about those folks who went to HBCUs is just built different.
Time out. You can't go. No.
It's a different kind of
Tennessee
stuff.
State. No, the Cumberland shores are fertile.
Very fertile.
We're from the land of gold and sunshine.
Okay.
And we're called the greater service. Ain't no other HBCU better than Tennessee State University.
No. It's plenty of HBCUs in Tennessee.
There is only one.
It's on
TSU.
There is only one TSU, and
Called the greater
TSU
service.
does. And I'm thinking like my best friends graduated from TSU.
Yes,
right?
sir. Talk about it. Yeah. We be in all TSU meetings. We be in meetings where Erica's the only.
I'm like the only person who did it, and so I do appreciate the honorary.
That never happened.
Accepted as a TSU.
You didn't get no honor. No, you didn't get no honorary nothing.
I did.
No.
And so I just want to appreciate not just TSU, but the role of HBCUs in like shaping our communities, the ones that have been beneficial. And so thinking about TSU as that beacon of hope. On the land of
golden sunshine.
By the Cumberland.
So
fertile
there's something
shores.
there. I think the love of my life probably graduated from a TSU.
Oh,
graduated from TSU or HBCU.
Oh Lord.
What's your conspiracy?
What's yours, Jamel? You want to go?
No, you should go first.
Jesus Christ was a Nepo baby.
What's
if we
that?
really think about it,
What's a Nepo baby?
he is a product of nepotism.
Okay.
Explain. Come on.
How is it that the creator of the universe sent you down to earth?
Yep.
Just miracles. You just born, you walking on water.
Everything.
Okay. You turning the fish and 5 loaves into
sewing
feast.
ears on.
You turning water into wine.
Yes, sir.
He
Having a
didn't
good
go
time.
to school. He didn't go to school for these things. He didn't work diligently for 5 years at a particular craft and learn how to turn water into wine. He was passed it down from a parent. I think that's nepotism.
And the parent is God?
Yeah.
Well, I did read that it's available to all of us, that same power.
You walked on water before?
Was it a movie called The Book of Clarence?
I think I gotta go to the verses. Okay. I can't think of the
It's okay.
scriptures.
It's okay.
But they say it's available to you too, though. That's what they said.
Okay. We can push ahead. Jamel, you got a conspiracy?
He said nepotism. That's wild. It's called oil. It's called favor.
Okay.
What else it called?
My conspiracy is you remember Mike's old conspiracy that Elon Musk is a failed AI? My conspiracy is that Lord Jamar is the opposite and also a failed AI. That they're part of the same machine.
They're from the same multiverse.
Who is Lord Jamar?
So Lord Jamar is a rapper, one of the originals.
Okay.
He was on a podcast where he got into it
You told me about this.
about flat Earth.
Okay.
And he started short-circuiting in that moment. So I just want to say I think Lord Jamar is a failed AI sent from the future to also do what Elon Musk is doing.
Can I say something? Because I've been really thinking about simulations. Like, because people be like, this is a simulation. It's not real reality. And I was thinking like, well, then where does that place God in creation? And I was like, even if this is a simulation, it had to be created by something. Right? And even if it was created by something that is something else, right? Maybe other human beings, I don't know, or other life beyond us, there still had to be a creator overall, like a divine presence. So I'm like, I want to reach that even if this is a simulation.
Yeah, so the way that rabbit hole goes, just heads up, is based on the idea that we created televisions. So we created something to watch. And so that means a more technologically advanced group might have created this simulation so they can watch. And on and on and on and on and on. So it's just a multiverse theory.
Oh, okay.
But it's each multiverse is watching the other.
Okay. Even if that's true, I'm like, I still am locked in. Okay.
You want to get to glory.
The divine order.
Right. Okay.
That's cool. I don't know if we knocked our conspiracy out the park this week.
I think that nepotism, oil and favor, that's good. Who was yours?
Lord Jamar's a failed AI.
We don't have to recap.
Mine was good. Shout out to TSU.
That's
Go
not
Blue.
a conspiracy. That's just facts.
Right, that's the truth. That ain't a myth.
I mean, it's something over there. I don't know if the land is holy.
It's fertile.
It's fertile. It's holy, which might be why they're trying to take it. So
We told you.
You know, undermining the work at TSU really undermines the future of our movements, right, and our people.
There it is. Well, look, this to Get the Goods podcast, y'all. We're gonna try to get this thing on a regular schedule. We got some shifts in the calendar happening, but we're gonna try to get it locked down. Hopefully, we'll be here more consistently. Coming up, February 22nd.
Yep.
What we got, y'all?
We have our 4th annual State of Black Tennessee Town Hall, where we bring folks together, talk about what we can do together, and set the agenda for the whole entire year. We'll be live streaming it, I think.
Yeah,
I think so.
live stream.
Via our YouTube channel.
Yep.
And then also, recently we had the honor of going on Black Power Media, or Black Liberation Media, actually, to actually talk about this and invite everybody from over there.
And y'all had a show. Well, we had there was a benefit concert, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Brittany Howard.
Yeah,
Brittany
yeah.
Howard, shout out to Brittany Howard for the hardcore benefit concert that we did at Basement East. Well, that we were beneficiaries of, really.
Yeah.
They supported the organization, and we got to see some hardcore bands. It was pretty fire, actually.
Yeah,
So,
that was amazing.
yeah, that was dope.
So, yeah, been some good stuff.
Great
All right,
stuff.
tap in with the team, y'all. We got so much in store for this year. Definitely want to be in a community with folks, be building with folks, across the city, across the state, and even in other parts of the country.
There it is. When we work together, we win together.
When we win together, we
We change the world.
world.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.